Hey guys, it's Rob with a new video. In the last two videos, I showed you that 4 years ago I had found that the planet is covered by reoccurring patterns. And then I tracked them down to this right here being the main pattern. They're all related to this right here, and they cover the entire planet basically. And then I learned that this reoccurring pattern had a reoccurring theme, in which you could see here as the Southwest Indian Ridge, which is this ridge right here. I had made claims that this reoccurring theme also is replayed over and over again in the surface features of our planet. And this defies plate tectonics 100%. I also claimed that this is an image of a vortex. And you can clearly see that this ridge is supposedly spreading very, very, very slow, so slow that it probably doesn't even move. But I'm claiming that these are the inner images of a rotating vortex, and that the surface features on our planet are a result of it. They're all different layers of the material that's spinning around this vortex. You could even say that it's the turbulence around the vortex that creates the features on our planet. It's really that simple. And the way that I prove it is I simply line up obvious reoccurring patterns and then look around the other areas to see if they match up too. For instance, you'll see there's a V shape right here, and then another one right here on these two separate images, and I put them together and they line up and down the coastline. This can't be a coincidence, but it happens in other areas too. You can just see that this angle right here obviously is related to this angle. You can see that when I bring it in, it just lines up, and then what are the odds that this whole thing is going to match? But not just there, but also when you bring it in. And you can move it down and bring it in, and you can see that it also matches the features inside North America, not just the coastline. But we'll get more into that in a little bit. I then prove that this is reoccurring because then I take it and I match it over here with Africa. You got this V part again, just like here. And then I just simply match it up like that, and it matches up all the way, just like it did over there. It goes towards the tip of India, which also looks like a vortex, as you can see right here. See the two images? They look like reversed of one another. Watch as I bring them together. They're the same size, but notice the tips too. The biggest problem I have with this whole project that I'm working on is that I'm trying to show people a three-dimensional process with two-dimensional pictures. And the problem is that if this is three-dimensional and not on the surface of the planet but sitting at the core, it would have sides and a backside to it. And what you're seeing here is just the front. And what you see next to India here on the right side is this is the Southwest Indian Ridge, and this is the part of the vortex that I'm telling people are the inner images of the planet's core, and you're seeing swirling and rotating. Not only that, you can see that this is obviously spinning in a circular pattern just by looking at the markings that it left behind on the surface of the planet. Over here on the other side is the reversed image of this image, which would be the back side, or the part that as it's rotating around. You'll notice that below India is this feature right here, and you can tell that it looks a lot like this. So I'm going to go ahead and line this up with the reversed image like that, and you can clearly see that it matches the features here. There's no doubt about it. But this is swirling. So let me get the other side. And you can see that this matches right there. So it's staggering, it's rotating and it's staggering. But let's take a look at this one again and move it up. You can clearly see that this is matching this side of India, and that the southwest Indian Ridge is going up into this gouge right here. The obvious part about this is the same size, the same width, and then you got this feature right here matching up with the Himalaya mountains. That's too many coincidences. See, look at that match. It's exact. So how do I know that these two areas are matches? Well, what I do is I look at each image and I look for unique patterns, like these two circles. And when I bring India back over here and I pull this up to the Himalaya mountains, how did I know that these two are related is because I can match the circles right there. And when I do, you can see that each one of these lines lines up with a feature on the Himalaya mountains. You can see that it does that all the way, and it's just, you could just see things line up as I bring them in. As I line up those two circles, you can see, you can just tell that the spacing of the features are matching with these line features, as if, almost as if it was drug through. Bring it down, and you can tell that this spins around. Like that. And you can see that this is matching here. Again with those two dots on the tip here of India. So, and you can see it matching here. You can just tell that this is staggering and rotating. I want to show you reoccurring evidence that the surface features are images of a vortex. Now, I showed you that this right here is the inner part of a vortex, and I showed you what it looks like when I line it up forward and reversed, because it's rotating, with the image of India and the features below India. I showed you that when this thing is rotated, these two circles here line up with the Himalayas, like that. In other videos, I showed you that the Philippines and the areas around it are the underlying images of the process that created India. And I show this by lining it up like this. And it lines up so well that even the sea next to it matches this area right here, like that. And you can see that it matches. There's this area right here that's like beveled. Well, you could see that as I bring it in, it matches there at the beveling, and then in more. It even matches the area below. And you can see that India still matches up in here. As it's a process of moving, you can see that it matches right here because it's spinning down. But what happens when I take this area that I matched up right here, and then I'll match it up with the other area right here. Watch. You can see that it's matching all the way down to the tip, see? What are the odds? This is obviously spinning around. This looks like a reversed image, and it matches either way. And this smoothed out area, could this be the evidence that this is rotating? This part right here, like so. See how it's matching? See, as this fits into this, what looks like rotation, and this area fits into here. And then you could see this, the vortex is rotating. Look at this area now here and this area. See how the vortex seems to shape the inside and the coast, the coastal areas. As I rotated it. Is this the process of rotation and maybe a flipping? As you can see, the slide marks are of a, looks like rotating, like it rotated in or out. Again, we got that triangle area lining up with what looks like turbulence. It looks like an electrical discharge pattern is what that looks like to me. So here it is. I rotated that clockwise, and then if I move it over here onto India, well, look how it fits. The same way, look, and even there's a tip. What are the odds? Look at that. Look at that fit. You can see that something has rotated out. Okay, so I'm showing you that the vortex is rotating. It's rotating, but it's also rotating like clockwise or counterclockwise, and I show you that it matches the features over and over again. See, look, when I rotate this, you can see that this is going to match into here. As this matches down, see how it matches? It's obviously going through this area of spinning, but then I take the same thing and I move it over to India, and I bring it in. You can see that it's matching, well, these features here as it's running along the coastline. But as I'm bringing it up, you can see that it's matching the overspill. See? And then as I bring it up more, it's almost as if it's going through a tunnel right here of what would have been rotating and overspilling. But watch as I bring this area right here up, and you can see it matches here. And then of course up here you can see the spinning and the rotation matching here too, and you can tell that if I was to spin this around, it would match there, staggered. See the coincidences? This is another layer of this. This is reoccurring patterns and themes, and I'm proving it by matching them up. If they weren't reoccurring patterns and themes, they would never match, ever. None of this is described in plate tectonics because, well, it would kill plate tectonics. Therefore, plate tectonics has to have a blind eye to reoccurring patterns and themes, because then they'd have to explain how do these reoccurring patterns and themes cross plate boundaries. And maybe, just maybe, what they think is plate movement and earthquakes is actually either settling or the movement of electromagnetic forces within the planet's core. You know, it could be that simple. As simple as matching images of Earth's surface features up to one another. I was going to do a different video here, but I ended up going this route because the other video I wanted to make is actually kind of complicated, because in these features there's a flipping that takes place, and I haven't figured out how to explain that yet. And this flipping can be seen right here. It flips around, and I'm a little intimidated to try to show that in a video because I don't want to lose subscribers. And as soon as I figure out a way of showing and proving that this that lined up in there actually spins around to here, it's like unfolding has taken place in the creation of our planet with this vortex. And I could speculate all day on it, but I probably shouldn't until I have more stuff to show you. Also, I wanted to clear something up about the difference between what I'm showing you and the electric universe theory. Now, I'm a huge supporter of the electric universe theory because it was Walt Thornhill's videos that actually opened my eyes to these surface features, these reoccurring surface features that I never could see before. Where we differ is that the electric universe theory believes that the surface features are the result of electrical discharge anomalies between planetary objects. So they think that these are random discharge scars from passing planetary bodies like planets or comets. what I'm claiming is that these are not random. These are reoccurring, and it's because they're from the Earth's core, the electrical core. And that's where we differ. Nobody that I know of has ever tied the surface features to the planet's core. And what this means, if I'm right, and I'm feeling 100% confident in that I am, is this means that gravity doesn't create planets. Electromagnetism creates planets, and it does it rapidly. It doesn't take billions of years to collect dust particles to create a complicated planet that has layers and different uh, elements and metals and that are all categorized and organized. Um, I'm claiming that they are there because of electromagnetism, and it's the electromagnetic forces of twisting and turning that actually can change matter into different things. And it does it at its core, and it makes sense too when you think about it. What I'm claiming is that the Earth's magnetic field was here before there was even a planet. So, and it's the reason why the planet's here now. And that's what I'm claiming. And I'm trying to prove that, and I'm going to prove that by the time I'm done. And I just want to thank you guys for watching. And I really appreciate any support that I get with a thumbs up and stuff like that, because I've come a long way to show you what I showed you today. And I just want to say one last thing, that these features that I showed you today and their movement and their rotation, and then I hinted about a flipping, can be replicated all over the other surface features as well. They all tell the same story. They all support the same theme. And it's profound when you see the whole thing. The problem is I have to figure out how I'm going to explain this and show this in a video. It takes a lot of time to do this. And I want to do it right so that I don't lose subscribers. And I also feel obligated to do it right, because the current model that we're being taught in the schools is 100% wrong. And it's so easy to see that when you realize that these recurring patterns and themes are crossing subduction zones and plate boundaries, and that plate tectonics cannot account for that, and it has to, because it's a theory. A theory has to explain all the observable evidence, or it has to be thrown away. It doesn't get to pick and choose what evidence will support it, but that's what they're doing. Thanks for watching and hearing me out. Appreciate it.